So all the information we have so far suggests that Starfield is going to be an absolutely massive game, like Fallout or Skyrim in space. A combination of all the features and things that have been in Bethesda games over the last 20 years. These are all been combined together into this new massive game. So we've got lots of information that we've been gathering from the Starfield Direct, from the gameplay last year, from trailers, and from interviews that Todd Howard has done and revealed a little bit more. But obviously they're trying to be careful, they don't want to spoil lots of the game, and there is a massive amount, far more than we already know, that we don't know about the game. So I'm going to quickly go through some of the stuff that we do know and how this leads into some of the stuff that we still want to find out about, that we're still itching to get more information about. So one of the first major things, the whole thing with Starfield is the amount of planets. So Todd has said that there's 1,000 planets and only about 10% of those have life on them. So what exactly does this mean? Does this mean that there's no sort of native alien life on them? But this could mean that there's going to be outposts on there, abandoned mines, bases. There's going to be your different pirate factions and stuff can be on there. So it may just mean that there's no sort of native wildlife, but there's still going to be things to do on these planets. So they're not just going to be completely barren, empty resource planets. There is still going to be stuff to do on a lot of these planets, even if they've not got alien life. This is what we assume. So we've already seen, I think, about 40 different alien creatures in the Starfield Direct and the other gameplay. So how many more creatures are there going to be? Are there going to be multiple different creatures per planet? They've said that there's going to be sort of docile kind of herd animals, and then there's going to be more sort of predator type creatures that are going to be potentially attacking the herd animals and attacking you. What we haven't seen, I don't think, is actually killing one of these animals and what you can loot from them, what kind of items you can get from them, can you skin them, can you get the bones, that kind of thing. But we have seen that there's this mechanic where you can tame or control an animal, but we've not been shown any more about what that means. What can you do with it once you've got it under control? Can you send it off to attack enemies? Can you get it to follow you? What else can you get it to do? We don't know. So then that leads into actually exploring and walking around a planet. So we've seen that you can land anywhere on a planet, and then Todd suggested that the normal thing you'll do is just explore around your ship and see what sort of points of interest you can find. But it's not clear yet whether you can actually, if you wanted to, could you walk all the way around a planet? I think we're assuming that you can, and it would take a long time, but we don't know for sure. How far away from your ship can you get? But it looks like you can fast travel back to your ship, so getting far away from your ship isn't something you need to worry about. Is it going to be quicker to take off and then re-land on another area of the planet rather than kind of jetpacking there or walking there? And how long is this going to take? Is there going to be cutscenes every time, or is it just going to be the first time that you do this and then after that you can sort of turn off the cutscenes? Can you disable the cutscenes completely to make it a bit more seamless? And then when you're up in space, when you're scanning the planet, it shows some areas of interest, some points of interest, and you can land directly at one of them, like an abandoned mine or an outpost. But are there going to be other points of interest on the planet that you can't scan from space? So you're going to have to land and walk around and accidentally come across some of these areas. Does that mean you might miss things because you might not have landed on the right part of the planet? And if a certain planet, say the planet's map is as big as Skyrim, you're not going to be able to walk around and find everything. So how's that going to work? And then when you're in space, sort of hovering above, orbiting around a planet, how far can you fly manually in space? How far away from planets can you fly? Can you fly from a planet to its moon? Or do you have to sort of use the grav drive to do little jumps? Or I presume you jump to a system and then you can fly around within that system. But again, all these little things, we're not quite sure yet. So then the other thing is, can your companions or different NPCs fly the ship for you? Can you get up out of the seat and get one of your companions to do the flying while you're doing something else within the ship? So Todd mentioned in an interview that one of the most interesting things that happened to him was that he was fighting he was on the ground and an enemy ship landed, and he ended up fighting the enemies and getting onto their ship, and while he was fighting, the ship took off, and next thing he was in space. So this suggests a short sort of loading screen, and then next minute he was in space. So what does that mean now? He didn't sort of finish that story. Was he able to kill all the enemies on the ship and then take control of the ship? Does that then become your ship? Can you fly it around immediately? What about your ship that you've left behind that's I presume has landed on the planet? How do you come back to reclaim that ship? So lots of that we still don't know. We've seen that you need to upgrade your ship to be able to jump a certain number of light years to get to planets that are out of range when you first start. But then there's also this kind of fuel consumption mechanic as well. So you can also only jump so far based on how much fuel it's going to consume. But we know that fuel isn't going to run out, but we're not sure how exactly is fuel going to work in the game. And is it something that recharges? Are you going to have to go somewhere to refuel? How's that going to work? So then another big one is obviously the main quest. We know very little. We know that these artifacts, and we know that you're helping Constellation investigate the artifacts and presumably go off on missions all over various different planets trying to uncover this mystery. And they are looking for intelligent life, and they mention that there's something else out there outside the settled systems. So does that mean we'll be able to go there? Is there going to be other areas that we can get to? What are these rings that we see spinning? Is that like a wormhole? Is it like a Stargate that we can go through to get to another area, another dimension? So is there going to be intelligent alien life in the game? Now at the moment they've kind of hinted no, but they could just be keeping that secret. We know in other Bethesda games like Skyrim and Fallout that there are non-human races, intelligent races that you can play as or talk to. So it would not be a massive shock if there was an intelligent alien race in the game we just haven't seen yet. Or will it be like the aliens in kind of Skyrim and Oblivion, that you come across these ancient ruins and weapons and artifacts and things, but the people that made them are long gone and you'll never actually be able to talk to them because they don't exist anymore. You're just finding what they left behind. Another big reveal was at the end of the Starfield Direct, where we saw this kind of space magic being done, which seemed to switch off the gravity for the enemies but not the player character. So what's this? Is this like magic? Is this like the shouts from Skyrim, where you can collect these different powers as you go through the game, but you can only kind of choose one at a time to sort of be the active power? Or is this it? Is this thing that they showed, is this the only power that you can get? So lots more we can find out about that. We've seen about some of the factions in the game. We've got United Colonies, we've got Freestar Collective, we've got Crimson Fleet, we think there's pirates called the Black Fleet as well, and we think there's kind of unnamed little bands of pirates out there as well. So, but what other factions are there going to be in the game? We know that there's a few different religious factions as well, and we've seen from when you do the character creation at the start of the game that you can kind of choose to kind of follow one religion or another, but you can't choose both. So they're kind of in conflict and you can pick one or the other. Is that going to work for other factions? If you kind of join the Crimson Fleet, does that mean you'll be an enemy of the UC? Will they do something like with the goblins back in Oblivion, where you had conflicting goblin tribes and you could kind of put them against each other? You could sneak into one goblin cave, steal the totem pole, take it to another goblin cave, and then the goblins would attack each other. Will we be able to do that kind of thing? Start wars between the different factions? Will there be some kind of mechanic with the uniforms or a disguise? I know that I've seen a video recently where it's a bit of a plot hole in Skyrim, that you can dress as a Forsworn and walk around Markarth and nobody says anything, even though they're sworn enemies. So is there going to be something like, if you wear Crimson Fleet armour and land on a UC planet, are you going to get arrested? Or are you going to be able to kill a UC or kill a Crimson Fleet enemy, take their armour, and then be in disguise as Crimson Fleet and kind of land at their base and walk around and they'll think you're one of them? Lots and lots of questions about shipbuilding, which looks like it's going to be a massive part of the game. I'm really looking forward to that. But it's going to be later in the game. It's going to be expensive to buy the parts and upgrade your ships, so you're not going to be able to do that until you've played a while. But we haven't seen how you sort of get between the different modules of a ship. So if you can stack multiple modules on top of each other, how do you get up and down between those modules? Are there ladders, which we haven't seen in other Bethesda games? Is there a lift? How's that going to work? And if you steal a ship, or buy a new ship, can you take those parts off and put them like onto the frontier, onto a different ship, or can you only buy and sell parts from each individual ship? I presume it'll work out better to steal a ship and then kind of break it down for parts, sell all the parts to get the money, and then you can upgrade your other ship by buying new parts maybe, or can you directly swap the parts from one ship to another? And then another big part of the game is the outpost buildings. Now we get the impression that you can build outposts pretty much everywhere on as many different planets and moons as you want. What there has been hints at through some little leaks is that you can actually have shops on your outpost. And then you can have trade routes where you can link multiple outposts together, and ships will kind of fly between the two outposts and land and pick stuff up and take it to the other outpost. We've also seen that if you've got a shop on your outpost, or you sell something from your outpost, that you'll actually randomly get other ships come and land on the landing pad. So let me know in the comments, is there anything I've not mentioned here, anything you've thought of that you would like to see in the game, or that you know is going to be in the game that I've missed? What are you hoping to be in the game? What kind of character are you hoping to play as? Are you going to be a trucker, a pirate, a thief? Are you going to join the UC and try and track down the pirates? What are you going to do? Let me know.